Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to share a quiet winter story. It is called Where It Is Always Quieter. Settle in comfortably. Let the weight of the day soften and allow the words to move slowly. High above the city, far beyond the streets and rooftops, where the snow settles without being disturbed, and the air feels thinner, clearer. There was a place where very little happened. No signs, no footsteps, no voices reaching upward. Even the wind, when it climbed this high, lost its urgency. It slowed, it softened, until it became nothing more than a gentle movement of air over stone and snow. From here, the city below looked different. Not busy, not loud, not impatient. Its lights rested quietly in the dark. They did not compete with one another. They did not rush. Small windows glowed in clusters, forming distant patterns, like constellations that had drifted down and chosen to remain on the ground. They were not asking for attention. They were simply present. He sat near the edge of the slope, his body still, his breathing slow and even. He often sat here, not because he wished to go below, and not because he felt alone. Sometimes, looking outward felt gentler than turning inward. Up here, silence had weight. Not a heavy weight, but a steady one. The kind that settles around you without pressing down. Inside that silence, there was no need to think ahead. No need to remember what had passed. No need to explain why this place felt right. Below, in the city, people were preparing for the night. A night they had been waiting for. A night filled with meaning. He could sense it, even from this distance. The glow felt different, softer, more intentional. He always noticed when the city began to shine a little more warmly than usual. On nights like this, sound traveled upward. It rose slowly, losing its sharp edges, becoming quiet and indistinct. A laugh, softened by distance. A voice, wrapped gently in air. He did not resent those sounds. They belonged exactly where they were. A quiet question sometimes passed through him. Why did joy so often need to be loud? As if silence did not know how to hold it. As if stillness had nothing to offer. Here? Joy felt different. It felt like an unbroken surface of snow, like breathing that required no attention, like a moment that asked nothing in return. He remained still. Snow drifted downward, slowly. Without direction, it settled on his shoulders, his arms, the ground beside him. Even that movement felt optional. The city continued to glow. The stars remained steady. The night moved forward without effort. Among all the lights below, his attention rested on one. Not brighter, not closer, not higher, just different. It burned evenly, calmly, without flicker, as if it was not waiting, as if it was not calling. He stayed with that light, longer than usual, and the night, as if sensing his stillness, grew quieter still. He had been here many times before. Sometimes it felt as though the mountain itself remembered him, as if the stone beneath him recognized his weight, as if the snow settled a little more carefully, already knowing where he would sit. He had not chosen this height. It had simply one quiet day been there, and he had stayed. Breathing felt different here. Not easier, just unforced. There was no need to match a rhythm, no need to hurry the air in or out. Each breath found its own way. Thoughts behaved differently too. They did not arrive all at once. They did not demand answers. They appeared slowly, lingered briefly, and then passed on, leaving space behind. At times, he looked toward the city and wondered what it might feel like to be down there, not inside a particular room, not among familiar voices, just within that warmth. He imagined movement, hands reaching for one another, light shifting as someone passed by a window. And yet, the feeling never fully settled. It stayed distant, like a dream. You understand while it lasts, but cannot fully recall when you wake. He knew that below, people were waiting for a moment, waiting for a feeling, waiting for something to arrive and confirm that the night was special. They adjusted their lives. They closed their doors. They gathered closer. Their joy had shape. Their joy had sound. He did not envy them, and he did not feel above them. His joy simply moved at a different pace. Up here, time stretched gently. A single minute could open wide, making room for thought, for rest, for nothing at all. Sometimes he closed his eyes and listened. Silence was never empty. It held the faint breath of wind sliding across stone, the quiet settling of snow, the deep, steady stillness beneath it all. And something else, almost too subtle to notice, as if the world itself was speaking softly, not to everyone, only to those who were willing to remain still long enough. When he opened his eyes again, the light below was still there, unchanged. It did not flicker. It did not fade. Around it, other windows dimmed, shadows lengthened, movement slowed. But that light remained, and for a moment, he wondered if it belonged not to waiting, not to celebration, but simply the thought passed quietly, like snow moving through the air. It did not ask to be held. At times, another question surfaced. Why did joy so often feel the need to announce itself, as if it might disappear if left unspoken? as if quiet happiness could not be trusted. He imagined himself among the voices below, among laughter, among expectation, and each time he sensed how quickly the space inside him would begin to narrow, not because people were near, but because silence would have nowhere to rest. Up here, it was everywhere. It did not demand attention. It did not require explanation. It simply allowed things to be as they were. He considered that perhaps joy could live like that too. Not displayed, not measured, but felt quietly, without witnesses, without proof. The mountain breathed slowly, and sometimes it felt as though that breath passed through him, through his shoulders, through his back, through the quiet places inside. The height did not separate him from the world. It simply left space between what was happening and what did not need to be taken in. Snow continued to fall. It did not choose where to land. It simply found a place, just as he once had. Here, there was no need to decide, no need to become anything else. He understood then that silence did not hide the world. It revealed only what one was ready to see, and that was enough. Once more, he looked down. The light was still burning. Around it, the city slowly settled, one window at a time, one breath at a time. The night deepened. The air grew heavier. He stayed where he was, not because he could not go down, but because here he felt at ease. Snow settled, more evenly now, more softly. And within this silence, there was no emptiness. There was presence. The night continued, and somewhere below, in one quiet window, a light remained on just a little longer.